Bassette is known as Edge. I know him as EJ, but I'll call him Edge. He was on about maybe 2 years ago, something like that. And he wrote a book called Silent Cry. Well, he's back again because he's written a second book. The book is entitled Practice What You Preach. 10 Principles for Taking Responsibility of Your Own Success. He has the remedy for success. Also, sitting next to him is Kimberly E. Clark. Kimberly Clark is a senior at Rich East High School. And she's written a book entitled From My Thoughts to Your Heart. Here it is, a brand new book called From My Thoughts to Your Heart. And the reason why we have her on here because we're going to talk about the life of a teen through poetry. So, why don't you help me give them a good God bless you to EJ Bassette and to our dear sister Kimberly E. Clark. EJ, here's the first book you wrote.
Yes, Silent Cry.
Silent Cry. You wrote this book because of a tragic event that happened.
Right. This is a book about 3 friends growing up in Ida B. Wells housing development. Mm-hmm. And it's about Ray and Deke, my 2 best friends, one from 4 years old and the other from high school. Mm-hmm. And tragically, they both were murdered at different times through different experiences.
Right.
So that was writing passion from my heart to say that their lives were cut short, but I would become the example that they would have been if they would have grown to maturity.
They weren't
No. Two parent, family homes.
They weren't the atypical thugs on the corner?
No.
Okay.
College students. Mm-hmm. And that's why their lives and their story is so fascinating because, as you know, it doesn't take a person to be a thug or a drug dealer to get caught in a bad situation. Mm-hmm. You simply have to be in the wrong place at the wrong time with the wrong people sometimes.
Right.
And your life can take a detour as far away from what you thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And that's the way most of us are. We don't think that our lives would wind up where it would be at the end mm-hmm. because we all figured we're going to have the riches and the wealth.
Right. Now, EJ comes back to us again. He has a second book he just wrote. This book is entitled Practice What You Preach. 10 steps to finding your way to be successful.
Right.
Actually, it's 10 steps for taking responsibility of your own success.
Practice What You Preach was written for me, Joe. Mm-hmm. And what it was written for was to say, what if you could take your life to the highest high? Take all the blessings that God has given you and utilize them each and every day of your life. What would your life be like? And so that's what I'm striving for, to see what my best life would be. And to go through the deaths of friends, the death of a parent, the death of a sister, the death of family members, the struggles that we all have each and every day. How can we still put our lives together so that we can leave a legacy so that the people coming behind us would have something that we have left for them to share?
Now, you are, and I'm reading here in your bio, you are a motivational speaker. You do one-on-one training as a training coach.
Right.
You do corporations, associations, agencies, colleges, universities, schools. You are a training manager.
Right. Well, what they call, you could say, motivational speaker, life coach.
Right.
But God has blessed me to be able to do more than 800 speaking engagements in the last 5 or 6 years, mm-hmm. and to do one-on-one coaching with people, life skill training, to help them figure out what they need to do in order to maximize the potential that they've all been given.
When you say life skill training, you're teaching them to do what in particular when you say life? And if I say life saving, I'm mm-hmm. teaching somebody how to save their life and
right.
save someone else's life
okay.
in case of a life-threatening event.
Okay.
When you say life training, what do you mean?
You're saying goal setting, how to prioritize things in your life, how to take your life and say, okay, to get from point A to point B, there's certain things I need to do. Mm-hmm. I want, at the end of my life, to look back and say, I've accomplished A, B, and C. Mm-hmm. How do you get there? Most of us don't plan. We don't have a written plan out of our lives so we can say, this is what I need to do and this is how I need to do it.
A 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, 15-year, 20-year plan. What do I plan on? What should I be? What should I look like after 5 years, 10 years,
exactly.
15 years? And you're trying to help people do that.
Right. They say only the top 10% of people in this country actually have a plan for their lives. Most of us plan more for a vacation than we do for our entire lives.
And it was Steve Covey who wrote the book called
The Seven
Seven Habits of the Highly Effective Person.
Right.
And you have a book that says Practice What You Preach. So how did you come up with that title?
Because, again, that title was written for me. To say, if I was just to do what I could do, we all have talent. Most of us have someone in our lives that says, you're great at this, or I love the way you do that. But we can't always see it. So if we could just take the talent that God has given us, our natural born talent, and then also take the resources that we're given, and take some training around that. And that's what corporate America taught me, was that you needed actual training in order to get better at what you do. But if we could take those components, and it says take opportunity plus preparation, that would equal success.
I like the way you said that. I don't want to steal it, but I like the way he said that. But see, not only has he had these two books, you published these two books.
Exactly.
You didn't go to a publisher to get it published.
No.
You are a self-made publisher.
Right. So it's understanding the business of business. One is the business of speaking, which is going out and speaking. And most people can say, when they see a preacher preach or they see a speaker speak, they say, I can do that. But they don't understand the business part of speaking, which is actually booking engagements. There's a marketing part to it. In writing books, it's not simply putting words on paper, but it's putting those words on paper in a format that others can read, and that's called publishing.
I noticed that you have expanded. First, the book, Silent Cry.
Right.
Then you have this book entitled Practice What You Preach.
Right.
But then this lovely young lady who's sitting right here named Kimberly E. Clark, is that Kimberly E. or Kimberly E. Clark? She is the daughter of Lewis and Gilda Clark. She is the senior, ready to graduate from Rich East Central High School in Park Forest, Illinois. But she has a special story too. She wrote a book entitled From My Thoughts to Your Heart, and this book was published by Edge Bassette. Why did you have this book? Why did you write this book?
Well, I've been writing poetry since 6th grade. I've known EJ since I was, 4 or 5. So he always knew that I wrote. And one day, a couple of months ago, actually, he came to me and said, we need to make it into a book. Actually, last year, around last August. And I had written over 50 poems. And he published them, and we would print them up and everything.
Now, who has read your book, From My Thoughts to Your Heart? It's entitled The Life of a Teen Through Poetry. What are we going to see about a life of a teen through poetry? What are we going to see?
You're going to see something that you usually wouldn't see, which would be, you're going to see me cry out to God in my time of need. You're going to see me hurt. The book has 4 sections. The first section is titled Love Letters to God.
Okay.
The second part is titled Take Off Your Shoes and Step Into Mine. The third is called Love Poems, and the last is Dedications.
Why do you, where does inspiration come from writing? Where does it come from?
God. I give all glory to God. He has really blessed me in being able to express myself through writing.
What caused you to write? Will you be at the park? Will you be on the bus riding somewhere? Will you be with your friend, your girlfriends, talking girlfriend stuff? Or you will be in your bed almost falling asleep and then you get an inspiration to write? When do you write?
Most of my poems were written my sophomore year in the back of my notebook during Spanish class. I sat in the back of the class.
You don't want to reveal that. She was writing, not Spanish, but she was writing in the Spanish class.
So I don't encourage that. Probably why I'm repeating the class again, but so that's where most of my poems were written. And I would just sit down and God would just take my hand and write with the pen. And I can't remember from memory half of the things that I wrote.
But if I open up the book and I would look, let me see, Love Poems, Part 3. Ready for love. It's yours, fine, take it, but be careful how you treat it. It's very delicate, so don't mistreat it. Make sure you remember who gave it to you when I'm gone. You may think you lost it, but you still have it. All you have to do is reach out and grab it. From a senior with this kind of thinking, deep, thought-provoking, serene, tranquil, where does all that come from? Does your mother write? Does your father write? Or is just you who came out with this gift?
Yeah, it's God working through me.
Mm-hmm. Now, what do you plan on being once you get out of high school? Where are you going to go?
I also sew. I'm into sewing. God has really blessed me in that area too.
Are you the type of person you can go downtown and look into one of those stores and look in the window and see a beautiful outfit and go right home and just make it?
Yeah, I make prom dresses.
You one of those kind of people?
Yeah.
Oh, you really gifted. How about that? And you know your colors too?
Yeah.
What color am I wearing?
Black and blue.
I just thought I'd tell you. Edge Bassette wrote the book Silent Cry, and he also wrote the book Practice What You Preach. Not only that he wrote these books, but he published these books, and he's also published this book written by Kimberly E. called From My Thoughts to Your Heart, and she is aiming to touch your heart with those things that God has put upon her heart.
Okay. My son, Mario, and you might as well say my godson, Louis, which is Kimberly's brother.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, Kimberly is my daughter's best friend, my daughter, Dina.
How about that?
And I have to say hi to my wife, Donna, 17 years.
How about that?
And Dominique.
And Dominique. You notice that he hesitated with Donna. Donna don't get me.